Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into Wrestling with the Odds. As you can see, first of all, I'm having some issues with mirror flipping. So if you want to click on the little arrow, it looks like that right below, then it'll flip and you'll be able to see the whiteboard the way you're supposed to see it. You can also just replace YouTube .com to mirror the video.com and it'll flip it automatically for you. So there's just some ways that you can actually see what the hell is written right here. So let's start with WWE Payback prop bets, and there's quite a few. As you can see right here, we have the number of titles that will change hands during WWE Payback. It's quite interesting that exactly two belts will switch hands is favored. As you see right here, you have under 1.5 plus 134, 2 minus 134, over 2.5 plus 200. So 3 belts changing hands is the least likely outcome for Payback tonight. There are currently 6 scheduled matches for Payback. 3 of them are championship matches. So if 2 are favored, you're looking at Apollo Crews and you're looking at Bailey. And so those are really the concerns for champions entering Payback would be those 2 matches. But the fact that 2 is so heavily favored indicates that at least 2 are in trouble. So we'll see. Bray Wyatt could be another one as well. He was favored. He's not favored anymore. Roman Reigns is now the favorite, but we'll get into that in a minute. So let's break everything down. We just went over the title change prop bets. I think this is one you might want to stay away from. I'm not sold Bailey Banks is dropping the belts. I'm not sold Bray is dropping the belt either. Now, it's very possible they both do, or one of the two do, or neither do. So I think just this is a bit unpredictable. Apollo Crews, to me, would be the odd man out here. He seems most likely to lose his belt, but we'll get into all that here in a minute. This just seems very unpredictable. Every single championship match for Payback can go either way. So I would probably stay away from that market. This is an interesting market, though. The longest match of the evening. Now, this is you could hedge this, and that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to hedge bet this. Longest match of the evening. Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy is favored to be the longest Payback match at minus 139. Any other match is plus 100. So you are basically getting plus value here for 5 other matches. Any of the other 5 matches can go longer than the Mysterios and Seth and Murphy here. And you will win at plus value. It's not great underdog odds, but they are underdog odds, so they are worth considering. And I do think that there is potential here to hedge bet the time market. One thing with betting WWE Payback this year is the time market is where your money should be focused on. So let's use this as an example. The longest match on the card is favored to be Rey and Dominic versus Seth and Murphy. Okay, so let's say you decide to take minus 139. That means you have to pay $139 to win back 100, equaling 239 if that's the longest match. There's some concern here. Will Vince really let Dominic go longer than any other match on the card? Probably not, but keep in mind that Dominic is going to be fighting with his father, Rey, Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy, 3 superstars in the WWE who can more than hold their own and get the longest match of the night. When you go into match specifics, though, where the hell is it? Right above here. Right up here. This is Dominic and Rey versus Seth and Murphy odds up here. This is the time right here. Odds makers are going with 22 minutes. So odds makers are saying this match can go over or under 22 minutes, and that's where you can bet. For this match to go over 22 minutes, the odds are plus 150. So theoretically, you could hedge. Come back down here to the prop bets. Any other match besides Rey and Dominic, Seth Murphy, being longer is plus 100. You could take this right here and then hedge it up here over 22 minutes plus 150. It does not matter who you pick here, Murphy, Mysterio going on longer than any other match, or taking any of the other 5 matches. This does not matter. If you take one of these, you have the opportunity to hedge bet the individual match between Mysterios and Seth and Murphy. So really look towards hedge betting the time market with this prop bet, longest match of the evening, and the time market with Dominic, Ray, Seth, Murphy. When you start getting into who's winning that match, it's very difficult, mainly because Dominic and Ray are fucking expensive. They will cost you nearly $350, and then they have to win. And in WWE, nothing's guaranteed. I do think that Buddy Murphy, though, he is favored to take the pin, take the loss. Dominic is favored to get the win. I think what you'll see is a hot tag situation with the Mysterios to win the match. I'm not sure Dominic's going to turn on Ray. That ship has sort of sailed. And if he does turn on him, it seems likely to be after the match, not necessarily during it. But it should be interesting. I do think the time market is where you want to focus, hedging this match in particular. Stay away from the winner market because it is a bit unpredictable. I wouldn't even say it's unpredictable, the winner. I think it's predictable that the Mysterios are going to win. It's just expensive. Now, if you think Dominic might turn on Ray mid-match and cost them, plus 225, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy should be your bet. So, yeah, just consider those. Let's move down here. There's a lot of jumbled shit here. See if we can tidy it up. So many computer issues this morning. I'm just happy to be recording. So let's pull up my markers here. We got Baron Corbin and Matt Riddle right here. And this is actually quite interesting because Baron Corbin, he was plus 190 to open. He has actually seen his odds go up. They're now plus 134. He's still the underdog, but people are betting on him. Now, not sure I would go in that direction. Matt Riddle seems like a pretty safe bet. For minus 190, it is expensive. Not too expensive, though, for everyone. I think when you start getting into minus 200, minus 215, minus 250, that's when most bettors are saying, no, that's too expensive. When you're under minus 200, but right there, such as minus 190, it becomes a balancing act. Do you want to spend $19 to win back 10? When you put it like that, I think Matt Riddle is a pretty good bet to win this match. One thing with Baron Corbin, I mentioned this in an article I wrote for Wrestling News World. One thing with Baron Corbin that has been consistently good in his career is the evolution that his character goes through and changing. He is now coming on about a year with the King shtick, and it's starting to get a bit stale. So from a betting perspective, I think I would need more conviction in Baron Corbin, specifically his character, if I'm betting on him moving forward, especially against a guy like Matt Riddle. If Baron Corbin was fighting Kalisto, I would take Baron Corbin. But Matt Riddle seems to be getting a huge push. He's one of the top superstars in WWE in the short amount of time he's been there. This is concerning a bit for Baron Corbin, but he's not betting, so I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. But Matt Riddle at minus 190 is absolutely worth a look. The fact that people are betting on Baron Corbin just gives you an opportunity to get Riddle at a cheaper price. Overall, I would probably lean against this match, maybe not bet it. But if I'm having to pick, I think Matt Riddle at minus 190 is a good pick. His odds might go back up as the day progresses. So make sure you get your Matt Riddle bet out there if you like him now. Otherwise, he's probably going to be a lot more expensive. Let's, where do we want to go? Let's jump across up here. We got Keith Lee and Randy Orton. I wrote RK for simplicity purposes. So Keith Lee has yet to be the underdog in this match. He is currently minus 125. Orton is minus 112. So Orton is the underdog, but he's getting minus value. His odds to win are over 50%. This is basically a toss-up. It could go in any direction. I think the idea is that Keith Lee should win this match, and maybe even cleanly, over Randy Orton, because obviously his future is a lot more important than Randy Orton's future as of this moment. Keith Lee, he was the favorite, went down. Him and Orton were tied, and then Keith Lee went back up, and he is now the favorite. Again, Keith Lee has not seen underdog odds for this match. I think, honestly, at minus 125, Keith Lee's a cheap bet to take now. If you like Randy Orton at minus 112, by all means, take him. The only way I see Orton really winning this match is via disqualification. Drew McIntyre runs in to save Keith Lee, or he doesn't even try to save him. He just runs in because he's fucking pissed off at Seth Rollins. So it could go in a couple different directions. But if Randy Orton wins, I don't see it being a pin or a submission. If you fancy Randy Orton, go to the method market and take any other result. You can get really good odds for that. I wrote the time market down here because this is one of a few matches that could challenge Seth and Murphy versus the Mysterios for being the longest match of the night. One of my colleagues brought up a very good point with Keith Lee and just some of the bigger superstars in WWE. They tend to not last long in big matches, just for stamina purposes. I've seen Keith Lee go the distance, though. But the fair point brought up here is that this isn't a main event. This isn't for a title. There is no need for Keith Lee to go 20-plus minutes in this match against Randy Orton. As much as we'd all probably like to see it, it's not necessary. And so under 20 minutes is favored at minus 200. Over 200 plus 140 actually does provide good value. And if you're – this is another hedge opportunity for the time market. If you're one of those people that really, truly believes that Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy's match against the Mysterios will be the longest match of the night, take under 20 minutes right here. If you don't, if you think any other match will go longer than Ray and Dominique's match against Seth and Buddy Murphy, then go over 20 minutes. There's the betting tip, the number one betting tip that I can take from dissecting all of these payback odds is there is ample hedge opportunities in the time market all over the place. And it's only because of this right here, this prop bet. That's the only reason that hedging is an opportunity in the time market for WWE Payback. That's where you will be making your money for this event. It will require you to sit down, go through all these odds, go through your bank account, and do a shitload of math to figure out exactly what numbers are needed to profit off a hedge. It can be done, though, but it's going to take some time and it's going to take some math. So get a calculator if you plan on doing that. But again, you will profit. The opportunity is there to win money if you are hedging the time market for this event tonight. In terms of a winner, though, Keith Lee, Randy Orton, go with your gut here. I think Keith Lee wins. Minus 125, minus 112. They're both cheap enough for you to see a good loss. I say good loss. A good loss is when you bet and you lose and you don't lose a lot of money. That's a good loss. These provide good losses. So take that for what it's worth. Going to the United States Championship match, I do believe this and the Bailey Banks, Jax Baszler. I think these are the two most tricky matches to bet on. As you can see, Apollo Crews is a pretty good underdog here. And I wrote MVP. It's supposed to be Lashley. Sorry about that. So Lashley is a huge, huge favorite, minus 295. Crews is an underdog at plus 200. I think Crews provides pretty good value to walk out with the United States Championship tonight. One of my colleagues brought up a very good point that Bobby Lashley being pissed off and taking his frustrations out on Raw Underground is actually intriguing. And it's an idea WWE might want to continue exploring. Lashley in the Hurt Business, maybe they keep losing, so they keep going to Raw Underground and they just beat the shit out of people there until they eventually take it over. I think there is some merit in that theory. And if that is the case, Apollo Crews at plus 200 provides the best underdog value of the entire evening. If you do think Lashley is going to win, though, I think you go to the pin method market at plus 110. The submission is favored at minus 167. I don't see that situation occurring for two reasons. One, Apollo Crews can win, and he will not win with a submission. He will win with a pinfall, perhaps a schoolboy roll-up similar to McIntyre Orton at SummerSlam, or he just hits Lashley with his spinny powerbomb. Lashley winning, I'm not too sure. He's not going to get Crews to tap. He could put the master lock on and get Crews to pass out, but I don't think Bobby Lashley is going to be booked in that sort of dominant role where he makes Crews pass out, and it would also negate the current title run that Crews is on. I really do think, as much as I hate Apollo Crews' promos since becoming champion, I do think Apollo Crews at plus 200 is absolutely worth consideration in this match. And honestly, you could see a situation where Crews loses via DQ because the Hurt Business gets involved and they get caught cheating. If that happens, the best underdog value of the entire night is any other result than a pinfall or submission at plus 334. You put $100 down on any other result than a pinfall or submission in this match, you win back $434. Not bad. Again, Apollo Crews provides some pretty good value in this match. I'm not convinced that WWE is convinced that Lashley and the belt, that Lashley has to be the champion and the belt has to go to the Hurt Business. I really do feel that WWE's interest with the Hurt Business is Raw Underground, and you do not need the United States Championship. Also, keep in mind, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Akira Tozawa's Ninjas, Shelton Benjamin, they are all involved in this storyline. There's so many side characters here. Other at plus 334 seems like a pretty good result. I could see a finish where maybe the 24/7 championship leaks into this match where everyone's running around, and then Crews kind of sneaks one in that way. Frustrated Bobby Lashley goes on a rampage. If you are considering this match in any way, shape, or form, it needs to be Apollo Crews to win or any other result than a submission, because that's where the value is, and quite frankly, that's where the story seems to be heading. Lashley winning clean does not seem likely. Lashley winning with some help could happen, but for minus 295, that's far too expensive. Don't even consider that. Don't even consider it. I don't care if Lashley wins. Do not spend $300 on Bobby Lashley winning this match. There's no real need. There's no need. There's no need. Let's move down. We've got two more matches to cover. Let's break down the main event, and then we'll get into the women's tag team championship match. So I think this is the main event. I could be wrong. Bayley, Banks, Nia, Shayna could be the main event, but Universal Championship match. Bray Wyatt opened as the favorite, not by much. Then on Friday, Roman Reigns was revealed to be a Paul Heyman guy. Who would have thought? Since that happened, Roman Reigns has been the favorite. Not only is he the favorite, he's a substantial favorite. He has gone up to minus 250. Betting terms, that's about a 75% chance to win. He has slowly gone up. His odds went from under 50% after it was revealed he was a Paul Heyman guy. Roman Reigns' odds went up to 66.7%. As of this morning, they have gone up even more to 74.7%. Again, though, I'm not sold Roman Reigns is getting the belt tonight. I'm not sure they want to do a big main card title change on this show. I think Clash of Champions would be a much better show for the belt to change hands. This is going to be tough because even Bray Wyatt at plus 190 is worth considering. I don't think he's going to win the match, but he can walk out of this event with the championship. I think there's one consistent trend with the Fiend matches, and it's that you will never have a clear ending. You go back to WrestleMania with John Cena. He took him into a different dimension. You go to the Swamp match with Braun Strowman at Extreme Rules. He took him underwater. Did he pin him underwater? No one really knows. You go to, what else? You go to Hell in a Cell. In a no disqualification match, his match ended in a disqualification. I've never heard that in my life. So, again, anytime you're betting Bray Wyatt Fiend matches, you need to be very careful because the ending is almost unclear. Rule number one in WWE betting is never bet against Roman Reigns, ever. Even for the Bayley Banks Shayna Nia Jax match. Don't bet against Roman in that match. It's just, you will never be smart betting against Roman Reigns. Rule number two in WWE betting, the Fiend matches are unpredictable. So this makes this whole thing very, very tricky. I truly believe that there is value here in Bray Wyatt leaving as the champion. You might see a situation where we see an unclear ending. Then Roman Reigns will get Bray Wyatt one-on-one at Clash of Champions to determine the real champion. I just don't see a situation here where this is very clear at the end of the pay-per-view. When you got Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman, you got The Fiend. It seems like this is headed for a gimmicky finish. And so I believe that you're just wasting your money betting this match. Braun Strowman is minus 400 to concede. You have to pay $400 to win back $100 for Braun Strowman to take the pin. There's just no value anywhere. I think the only value in this match lies with Bray Wyatt walking out as champion. Now, that is a different market than this. Bray Wyatt to win is plus 190, meaning his odds to walk out as champion are probably close to 130, 125, because he doesn't have to win. He just has to walk out with the belt. And anyone who watches WWE knows there's various different ways someone can lose a match and walk out with the belt still. So I honestly think the Universal Championship match is one you avoid for the Fiend unclear finish trends and the fact that Roman Reigns is just way too fucking expensive at this point. So save your money and move. Again, the time market is the best. Hedging the time market is the best betting strategy you can have for Payback tonight. Let's focus on the last match here. We got Sasha Banks and Bayley defending their belts against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Again, I do think that this is a situation where the underdog could win. Bayley Banks at plus 160. It seems very predictable that they would lose the belts. On SmackDown, Bayley also kind of made fun of Sasha in a way. She said, well, you can't handle the singles belts, but hey, at least you got the tag team belts. That seems like something WWE will toy with a little bit more moving forward. This passive-aggressive Bayley towards Sasha. I don't think you end it abruptly tonight. I think you continue to stretch. They have screamed on television, WWE, they have jammed it down our throats that Bayley and Banks are losing this match. That's what convinces me they are not going to lose this match. You keep the belts on both of them. You keep a belt on Sasha. I don't think you take both belts off Sasha that quickly. I think you slow burn this a little bit further with the tension build up between Bayley Banks. And I don't think, I honestly think minus 230 Nia Shayna is a waste of money. This does not seem like a odd couple tag team that WWE is going to go the distance with. Quite frankly, I could see Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler at the next pay-per-view in a situation where maybe Nia Jax walks out on Shayna Baszler and leaves her hanging in the ring. I just think for plus 160, Bayley Banks winning this match should be considered very heavily due to the fact that WWE has been, as clear as they can, been telling the audience, hey, Bayley Banks, they're losing. They're going to lose the belts. Oh, here comes the split. And anytime something is that obvious in WWE, more times than not, they're just fucking with us. They're trolling us. And so I really do think plus 160, take it. Bayley Banks, take 160 there. This is a bit interesting here. Who will be involved in the match result? Will it be Bayley or Banks? This should be plus. So Bayley is the underdog, which, again, I think you take. One of my colleagues brought up a very good point here with Bayley kind of teasing Banks. Like, oh, we have the tag team belts. Too bad you can't have a singles belt like me. If WWE wants to continue to go down that passive-aggressive tension where Bayley is almost patronizing Sasha Banks, I think Bayley needs to be the one to pick up the win here. Because this needs to be a booking in which Sasha wins, but also feels like she's failed, if that makes sense. And I think the way you do that is obviously Bayley Banks win. They'll win the match. But how do you make Sasha feel bad about a win? You have Bayley get the win. Simple. Plus 134. There is underdog value in this match as well. I do think that there is underdog value in the two champions, Cruz, Bayley Banks, and then I also believe that hedging the time market, those should be your betting focuses for Payback. Going through everything we have here, it does seem that the underdogs for the championship matches are being completely undervalued, which does include Bray Wyatt. All three champions are really undervalued in this. And I'm not convinced Payback is a pay-per-view where you're going to see a shitload of title changes. I'm just not. Especially for main card stuff, such as Bayley Banks and Nia Shayna. I just don't – it's tough. It's tough for me with the way WWE's been booking these two in particular, I'm not sold they're going to pull the tag team titles on them. Again, I think this needs to be, they need to book this in a way that Banks and Bayley walk out winners, but at the same time, Sasha is disappointed. I think you do that by having Bayley get the win, and you continue the tension moving forward. So yeah, I hope that helps if you plan on betting or if you just plan on making picks or whatever the hell you plan on doing. But those are the numbers, those are the odds, and those are the betting advice and tips for WWE Payback. So thank you all for watching. Again, I know it's at the end of the video, but if you flipped it, then you'll be able to see the board. And there's a few ways to do that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll have our video software in next week. I'm not even sure if we're doing a show next week. We should be. We'll be back for AEW All Out. That's September 5th. Doing a betting preview for that as well. So don't want to miss that. Thank you all for watching and listening. Go make some money, make some smart bets. Until next time, we'll see you.